Ooh. Hey, y'all, what's up? Welcome back. Another episode with Candice and I know y'all been hearing me talk, since the start of our podcast about this deployment. Well, my better half, he is back, y'all. He is back, and we have him as a special guest today. So, hey, babe.
Thank y'all for inviting me. All right.
Babe, it's okay. Relax. Be yourself.
Okay.
My handsomeness. That's not even a word.
Why did I kiss your
My
hand?
king. I don't know. You're supposed to get this back in my hand.
Yeah. All right.
He's back from deployment. And so today, this episode is pretty much going to be all about him and deployment, his experience, and the reintegration process that you go through life as a military. Mm-hmm. So let's get started. How are you today, babe?
I'm doing fine. How are you doing today, babe?
I am doing great.
Okay. That's an easy question. I can answer that.
So, how was deployment?
Deployment was deployment. So, like I was telling you before, this is our fifth deployment. Fifth? Yeah, because fifth because of EastPac.
Yeah, right? You're right.
So this is my fifth deployment, and I'm like I told you, I feel like this was harder, but just doing all the experience of doing all the other deployments and dealing with situations from those, it was easier. I was more well prepared for what was going on. Mm-hmm. So deployment was deployment. Right? Mm-hmm. Some good, some bad. Back home now. That's all that matters. That
is all that matters. Mm-hmm. I would say this probably was one of the rough deployments for me. I don't know if it's because, having Felix, we started over as a family, mm-hmm. and then adding on all of that, it was a lot. It took a toll on me, but
also a lot. We didn't get that much communication.
Yeah, that part.
Yeah, so
emails were yeah. If there was one thing or advice you can give to, those young sailors starting out, what would that be?
So it's a balance, right? So if you're not mentally prepared yourself for essentially being isolated and not being able to have like your direct support system for like 6 months, right? It's rough, right? Mm-hmm. Like I tell my sailors, right, all the time, especially like this last deployment, that it's okay to feel alone. It's okay to feel that you don't essentially have everything that you normally would have at home, because it is an unusual situation, especially for being gone for 6 months. Right. I think one of the best ways I explain being on deployment is, especially on like a submarine, is that you're surrounded by people all the time, but you're constantly lonely. Mm-hmm. Right? It's one of it's a weird feeling, right? That because granted, you might have people that you associate with and that you consider like your friends and your colleagues, but essentially you don't have anybody that you 100% feel connected and loved, right? So like, hey, I don't have my wife, I don't have my kids, right? I have some, my better friends, and some of the friends I'm going to have for the rest of my life, right? Shout out to Alex and CJ, right? Mm-hmm. But the
trio,
but you do not have essentially the people that know you 100%. And then like you have to prepare your wives and kids for it, right? So like this deployment, I didn't do some of the things I wish I could have done, right? I wish I would have set up for like more flowers to be sent, right? More gifts to be sent for like all the birthdays and different holidays I was going to miss, or even little small things that like, next deployment, I have all these ideas of, okay, I could do this. So there's like, except for me just be gone, he's gone. It's like a slow buildup of my return. And it's like something more involved with the kids, except for like daddy's gone and then they're just waiting.
Right.
But yeah.
Okay. Well, Candice, looks like Candice is able to finally join us. She was having some technical issues, so we're going to go ahead and bring her up on in here.
Yes. I'm sorry that I missed that beginning part, but thank you for coming on, Taquan.
Oh, no problem,
Candice. So you can continue. I didn't know if I, am interrupting.
I mean, we can. I just have one more question, babe. I'm sorry.
Okay.
And that was, what were some ways that you yourself used to cope during deployment when you were in those downtimes, and what were some other ways that you saw other sailors on the boat doing to help, I guess, pass time?
Okay, so there's plenty of things to do, right? So most sailors, they decide like, hey, I got 6 months. I'm gonna try to get my body back in like some of the best shape they ever did, right? I saw one of the guys that's like 40 plus, basically get his body to like an 18-year-old, 19-year-old. He's like,
wow,
dumb fit, right? We got actually, there's a pool that he's going to get his wife pregnant when he come back, because ain't no way that she ain't going to be saying, like, no, he ain't pulling out. So he already got 4 boys, right? So he's just like, but anywho, right? So like that's how it goes. So if some people do the whole working out, some people do decide to read. Some people learn a different language. You essentially got 6 months.
Yeah.
And if you have about 1 or 2 hours a day to your free time yourself, right? Sometimes, like I told you, like sometimes I went like a couple of weeks with no free time, right? But sometimes you can have 8 hours of a day just to yourself, and just learn how to improve. Like me personally, I read the Bible a lot this deployment, and then I just compound about more about mental health and like understanding emotional intelligence, right? And which helped me a lot with dealing with whatever issues were going on with like some of the junior guys in the boat, right? So I get to essentially be that type of counsel to them. Right? So like working out. Oh, and then of course video games, right? Plenty of video games. About every 8th person on the boat had a Switch.
Wow.
Playing Mario Kart, Smash Brothers, like all those type of video games, and then there'll be people playing Dungeons and Dragons. Right, I learned so much about Dungeons and Dragons without actually playing, just because I just watched them play it. Right? And they're a whole bunch of nerds, but I'm a nerd too. But I ain't playing Dungeons and Dragons. And then movies, right? So one of the things about subs is like essentially take what you think about like how things were operated and go back into like 20 or 30 years, and that's how it's like operating on the sub. So there's not too many places you can go to like watch movies and sit together. So essentially, in cheat quarters, in a war room, cruise master, you can watch a movie, and it's a consensus of the group to be like, hey, we're going to watch this movie. Mm. So it's about a whole bunch of guys between the ages of 20 to 40. And so the movies will either be chosen and like, let's pick a B movie that's really bad. So we just talk junk throughout the whole movie. Mm-hmm. Or they say, hey, let's watch this brand new movie or whatever it is. And that's one of the things that's like guys will all come together. I say guys because we don't have any women on my submarine, right? But they'll all come together, watch a movie, pop some popcorn, and like talk junk, right, throughout the whole movie. Or it'll be a good movie, and if you come in there talking junk, everybody just look at you like, shut the fuck up, Chief. So that's all like the downtime, right? Okay. Working out, trying to improve yourself, and watching some movies or playing some video games. Next appointment, I'm going to try to learn how to play piano.
Oh, okay. So he can come back and serenade you with the little piano, singing and stuff. Okay. So what is the transition? I don't know if you guys already touched based on this, but what has the transition been like for you guys? The adjustment for you, Mary, obviously trying to be Wonder Woman, and now realizing that you got, your other half back who can alleviate some of that. And also, Taquan, with you coming back and having to adjust from being hardcore work to balanced a little bit more now?
So it's like I said, we were talking about this is the 5th deployment, right? And I learned from the other 4 deployments, right? It's like I wear the pants in the house, right? When she lets me, right? So
okay, I'm glad you said that.
So like I understand that now, right? Because like plenty of guys, I explained this to plenty of guys that like your wife, your girlfriend has essentially been a single mom, let's say single woman, but she's been by herself, right, for the last 6 months. Mm-hmm. So if you come in and be like, why is the couch this way, right? Why did you buy this? Why is the bathroom a different color? I don't like this. You liable to essentially make conflict for something that doesn't really matter, right? You have to understand after 6 months, things are going to have to change. Things are going to be broken. Things are going to be lost. Some weight's going to be gained. Some weight's going to be lost. There's going to be stress, right? A kid might be missing a finger, right? But you just be happy the kid is still existing, right? I'm so happy that I came back. I still had 3 kids, right?
Don't do me like that. That was my only job.
I was like, well, I got 2 boys and 1 girl. As long as I just come back with like 1 girl and 1 boy, I'm fine, right? I'm just saying, baby. Right?
What?
I just want to make sure I kept.
No! I'm saying yeah.
No, I was just expecting, like, look, I just wanted to make sure I still have my daughter, and we could lose 1 boy just to come back another boy. Right? I like the oldest, and I also like the baby, but that's 1/3.
What?
I'm just saying. Right?
Look, he just didn't want to carry the name on. That's what he's saying.
Exactly. But
oh boy.
But I'm joking around. But you have to understand that your 6 months that you've been on the boat, or in the sand or whatever it was, right, was different, and like you essentially been a stagnant level, right? Stagnant position, right? That's the best way to explain it. And then your significant other had to deal with things that was constantly changing without any real support. Besides some of your finances, right? So I come back, and the things I know I could take care of, right? I'll step up and take care of, right? So, okay. The kids are acting up, or the kids say something funny to Mary. Like I hop up and I'll kick your ass, right? Mm-hmm. And that goes for the oldest down to the baby, right? And then somebody granted she's been making all the meals, right? But if she needed me to make a meal, I'll make the meal, right? And just try to take some of that the stress off her shoulders, right? It's little small things She's been driving for the last 6 months. So if we're in the car, I just let her sit in the car and just chill out, and I'll drive, right? And, the little small things you can do to essentially take off some of that burden off your spouse, right, is a big thing, right? And also, change the mentality of how you decompress as, a military member, right? So, if you think you need to come back and, hey, here's a red carpet, and, you sit on your, in a chair, and the beer is being brought to you, and then you do absolutely fucking nothing. That's, not being very considerate to your wife and kids, right? They missed you for 6 months, so you need to understand that both of y'all have to build back and forth.
Right. Yeah. That's good. I was actually going to ask you about that
because I didn't get to answer.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, boo. Go ahead.
I know this is all about him, but I feel like I should have a say too.
Yes.
Okay, so for me, my biggest issue always when he comes home is learning to let him help. Period. That's it. No, babe, I got it. It's okay. Mm-hmm. He'd be like, I'm here. Let me help. It's go take a nap. I got it, babe. No, it's okay. I got to do this. Relax, babe. So that's always been the biggest thing, right?
Yeah. All right. So it's because I said, she's been doing both roles for 6 months. So, and it's not I had to learn, I think it was my 3rd deployment that she's not trying to cut me out because she wants to cut me out. Right? She just is how she had to do it. So Like, I just have to come back and like, look, I'm here. This is my responsibility. When I'm here, I shall do it. When I'm not here, you got it, and I appreciate you doing it, but you don't have to cut me out while I'm here. You know?
Right. So, and can I talk now, Mary?
Yes.
No, so what? Because and I'm sorry if y'all already touched on this again, like I said, but when you what type of shutdown process do you have to go through going from, like I said, just you talked about the transition, but I mean, we kind of focus more on your family situation in regards to how y'all, how you both transition back in. But I mean, for you, is it a hard process when you've been so hard and work, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, okay, I need to relax a little bit. Like, is there some process you have to go through to get to that point? You just, hey, I'm happy to be home.
Oh, so yes, like, I mean, some things I'm not perfect about, right? So like Felix has been waking up in the middle of the night, and he screams, and instantly, because I hear some type of screaming or some type of like alarming situation, I pop up and I'm like, is something wrong, right? And I'm like, I'm not actually awake, but my body's moving and I'm running and like I'm trying to figure out what's going on, just because of being always in that ready state on deployment. And then now, like, I have to calm myself down, right? So I still like she saw it the other night, like I popped up and I slipped and I fell because I thought I was physically still on the boat, and I was just like essentially like dreaming, and I was in my bed, right? So like that takes a longer while for me to decompress and get that out my system. Like, hey, you don't have to be ready to go at 100 right now, right? You can take it back. Other stuff is just like, before we pull in, I mentally tell myself, okay, think about this, right? And like it's a mental gym of, hey, these situations are going to be happening at home. How am I going to be prepared for that, right? How am I going to have a conversation with my children, right? How am I going to have a conversation with my wife, right? How am I going to react to anything that goes on, like good news, bad news, right? Anything, right? A random death, whatever happened, right? How am I going to like prepare myself? And I do that about a month before we actually pull in, so that I'm not too much as a shock whenever something arises, right? So, but like I said, it took me, and like I've been talking to Mary about, like, this coming back for this deployment has been a lot better transition for me, because this is my 5th deployment, right? So like, it took 5 deployments for me to figure out how to do this with a wife and kids, and I kind of wish I would have figured it out by like deployment 3, right? So
I think that in that, like, the whole reintegration process, you see how he said it took him 5 deployments. Now imagine these freshly new sailors, fresh marriage, where they don't even give it the chance, to work things out, because they're just like, oh, you coming back in, you want this, that, or you want to change stuff. And instead of working through those issues and understanding, their point of view and then our point of view, it's just like, you know what, I don't want to be married no more, and instead of realizing that these type of things takes time and it's important, like they get their, like I mentioned on our previous episode, like they get their own separate reintegration training, and the spouses, the girlfriends, we all get our separate reintegration training to know, like, okay, don't be pushy when they come home, give them their space. Yeah, they may be quiet at first, or, things have changed and they have to, process everything. So don't just be, here, do this, do this, take it a step at a time. Even now, like this deployment, he's came back and he's like super just like chill and calm. And I'm like, babe, are you okay? Like, are you sure you're okay? Like the last couple of days, like I go to him like, are you sure you're okay? What's wrong? You want to go upstairs? He's like, I'm fine. It's like, something seems wrong. So, but yeah, it takes time.
Okay, so I also wanted you to kind of touch on, obviously, real quick before I go to the question I was going to ask you. You have children of different ages. I don't know how y'all started over, but anyways, we ain't gonna go there right now. That's for another episode. But is there a difference? Does it feel different when it's like you're obviously coming home when your kids are toddlers versus being in high school, middle school? Like, is there a difference in,
Yeah. I'm about to tear from last year. So, last year when I came back, Felix forgot who I was. That would hurt. So dealing with a baby that's less than a year old or less than 2 years old, coming back and then they're like, yo, I don't know who you are, right? And that would hurt, right?
Yeah.
And then, but I just play that off that he's a mama's boy, right? So because Amara didn't do that. She didn't forget me.
No, because she's a daddy's girl.
Yeah, right. I know that, man.
She was like, no, but and just it's different for each child. Well, each child is always going to be different, right? But it's different for each child. It's different. They react different from deployments. They act out in different ways from deployments, right? So some are not going to be affected at all. Some are going to be affected. But coming back and being, dad or father or daddy or whoever, they decided to call me amongst the three of them, right? It's different. And you just have to, when you understand your child, right? Even though it's been 6 months, you kind of understand your child, right? Mm-hmm. And like I said, I know when I speak to my daughter, okay, she's hurting, right? And then I know I speak to my oldest, yeah, he's hurting, and he's gonna talk to me eventually, right? And we have our conversations, right? And then when I talk to my baby, right, he's just a little tank, right? So he ain't hurting for nothing. But it's still just I can see it, right? Because missing your father for 6 months is extremely hard on the kids.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I would say as a whole, as our family, I think this one really did a number on all of us individually. And you just got to see, because DJ has been so used to, him being the only boy and being the man of the house when daddy's gone. This deployment, even while we were sitting, waiting, at the homecoming ceremony, waiting, watching vote, he tried to act so chill and yep, dad's coming home. Boy, you excited. And then my brother Ray, he caught a video of him where DJ was cheesing. He was look at him, trying to hold it. He was you happy, man? He was yeah.
Yeah, you got to keep them cool points.
Right, yeah. And Amira, she would not stop. She was talking nonstop. Oh my God, I can't wait till daddy come home. Just okay, girl, okay, we know. And then Felix just dad. Aww. So it was crazy. They all have their different personality. Just to see all of that, it was just crazy. So
that's good. So how does it help you, Taquan, with obviously knowing that Mary is holding down? I'm pretty sure that's a big stress reliever for you.
I'm just riding that, girl. You know this.
Girl, listen, I'm asking the question so we can hear. I know this. I need everybody to know this. So I'm giving him an opportunity. That's what I'm doing.
My king.
She didn't answer the question yet.
I don't even know where I was. But yeah. Is it? I'm pretty sure it's a big stress reliever. Like I said, to have somebody that you trust and, that basically is doing a good job back home for you.
Yes. So having a solid, right? a stable support system at home, right? As a military member is, it's a key thing, right? So, like I said, it's very stressful, right? It's very stressful for anybody deployed, and I'll tell you, if there's anything that you think is going wrong that you can't handle, especially when you're on the way on a submarine, right? Where you can't do nothing, right? If something bad happens at home, you got a couple months before you can even try to do anything via like telephone, right? So like having somebody that you know you can like handle stuff, right, is great, right? So like even though like I feel bad whenever Mary has to handle a situation by herself, right? Like, you know, we sold our home while, you know, I was deployed. Granted, I didn't want her to go through that by herself. I feel like, man, if I was there, I could do this, right? I could, you know, grab the phone to curse somebody, you know, out, right? Or I could go take a flight to like physically threaten, you know, somebody trying to like
my personal bodyguard, y'all.
But I knew like, hey, regardless, she's gonna handle it, right? Any situation with the kids, right? You know, good, bad, or I know she's gonna handle it, and she's gonna handle it to the best of her ability, and it's gonna be, you know, as good or just as good if both of us was here, right? Because like, you know, I have faith in her, right? And like, also know like she's gonna look out for my best interest too, right? So like, hey, if it's a decision that she knows, like, hey, if Rudy was here, right, he would want it this way, and I think it's best for us to go with Rudy's decision than my decision. She understands that, right? So like, and that's like, you know, knowing your significant other, right? So, and also having that conversation, right? And then if she didn't know, you know, she'll send an email, and then I reply like 5 to 6 weeks later of like. Whatever you
that's
how it be though.
Whatever you decided was right. If I'll say it's a trap email. Oh, I think about doing this. What do you think about? I'm not going to say what I think about because I'll tell you what I think about. It's like why? So I can not get an email for the rest of this deployment. Wrong answer.
Right.
But yeah, having a solid support system at home takes a lot of stress off some of the guys. And like I had to like explain that to some of the, you know, junior sailors coming up for the, you know, deployments and future deployments that, hey, this actually is about to sound some real cold shit, right? It's like, yeah, she might be a good wife while you're at home, but will she be a good wife when you're at sea, right? And it's like there's plenty of people that will be able to have a, you know, 75-year marriage as long as you're home, right? But there's plenty of people that will not have a good marriage if you aren't home.
That's so true.
Right, so like, and it's not a fault; it's a huge task, right? Like, you know, I don't fault any, you know, spouses that can't handle it because, you know, like the first boat, I was gone for, almost 2 years, right, on deployment time, plus like all the other little underway times or whatever times I wasn't at home, right? So like 2 years of the first 5 years in our marriage, plus I was not physically there, right? So if you don't have a spouse that's willing to like deal with that, and then, you know, you can't blame them for it, right? It's, you know, they ain't signed up for it. So you just got to make sure that you have somebody that can like physically support that type of situation.
Right.
Or else you come back and all your shit sold.
I'm sure you got some crazy stories.
That big got out.
Dang.
They ain't have nobody to so.
That's wild. I think that's all I got. Mary, you got anything else?
No, that's it. I don't think I have anything else. You have anything else you want to say?
I do.
Okay.
Thank you, Mary.
They don't be doing this on camera. We're on camera. We can see it.
No, action. Action.
No, really, thank you. Right, for dealing with all the stuff of deployment, still being there for me. Right?
You're welcome. Of course.
Just like, you know, I try to say it all the different times, right? I try to learn how to say it properly, but I really do appreciate everything that you do, right? Like, thank you.
Thank you. Love you.
Love you too.
Oh, you said you. I couldn't hear you. What you say? Wait, say it again because we couldn't catch it in the mic.
Say what again?
What you just said. What you just said. Yeah. I'm sorry.
I'm not going to try. I'm a G.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I'm sitting here pointing to my camera like y'all can see it. You. My bad. Okay. Oh, that's so sweet. Oh. And y'all, they've been down for
What?
There ain't no other questions?
It's 30 minutes.
Oh, that's 30 minutes? Oh,
yeah.
That's easy then.
But, but
easy.
Because we didn't get a chance to do my little icebreaker questions, I'm going to do them now, okay? I know it's supposed to be in the beginning, but I'm going to do them now. Is that cool?
Go ahead, girl.
Okay. First question. What is your favorite sitcom of all time? So one that you would love to take on the boat with you. And you're the only one you can watch over and over and over again.
Oh, okay. So sitcom? All right,
sitcom. That'd be sitcom.
Okay, sitcom. The one I rewatched over was The Wire. I rewatched The Wire over, right? But I also watched way more anime than any
Okay, real quick, I'm gonna help you out.
That's not a sitcom.
Yeah, I'm about to say no. That's a drama.
So she said sitcom. What's the question again?
What's a sitcom?
The funny ones, the 30-minute funny shows.
Oh, easy. Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Okay.
She's judgmental.
Look, my husband be watching it all the time, and I'll be like, "Can we watch something else?" I literally have to be in the mood for it. I got to be in the mood for them.
Look at what we got on.
I know. I see y'all. You know what? I didn't even put it together, but I see you. I see you. Okay. All right. Give me your favorite superhero and why.
So, favorite superhero is Daredevil because, like,
I was not expecting it.
What, Daredevil?
Yeah, I wasn't expecting that.
Well, because, if you read the comic books in Daredevil, right? So, Daredevil, right? Yeah, he's a lawyer, he's blind, all the good stuff, but, he's very calculative about how he reacts and interacts with people. And the stuff that he did in the comic books, it was he was compassionate about people, good people, but he literally beat people to bad people to the point that they couldn't physically walk or move around. The comic books, he'd be walking around and some dude would be out there trying to be a rapist, and he'd beat a guy, testicles, in 4 frames in the comic books.
Okay, babe, we get it.
So Daredevil, Daredevil. Daredevil. So
okay.
I thought it would be Black Panther, but Black Panther, he's OP in the comic books. It's he's smarter, richer, stronger.
Wait, what does that mean? You said OP?
Overpowered.
Oh, okay.
He's basically just like Captain America in the movies mixed with Bruce Wayne and smarter. There's a comic book where he beats up the Fantastic Four, and in the Fantastic Four in the comic books is literally they're super strong and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So let me know your favorite J. Cole album.
For Your Eyes Only. Yeah.
Okay. You got a favorite song on that track? I mean, on that CD?
Yeah. Folding Clothes. I like that.
Folding Clothes? Okay. I'll have to check it out.
Yeah. It talks about, because his girlfriend, his wife is, actually, I think it came out around the same time you were pregnant, right? And he was he talked about his girlfriend and wife is pregnant, and he's trying to make things easy for her, but he doesn't know what to do. So he's like, all right, I'll fold the laundry.
What are you doing?
It's I don't know what to do. He's
flashback.
I'm fold the laundry. That's something I can do. And I relate to that, like folding clothes.
Okay. All right. And these are, I just gave you this. I'm about to give you this next question just because these are my favorite two comedians. So, Chris Rock or Dave Chappelle?
Dave Chappelle.
Dave Chappelle. Okay.
Dave Chappelle. Dave Chappelle for thousands of reasons.
Yes, but don't minimize Chris Rock. He pretty. Oh, okay.
Candice about to.
They're my two favorites. So I don't have an argument for either one. Like hardcore. I like both of them.
So Chris Rock is top 5, right? Top 5 of not just like black comedians, but like comedians, right? Dave Chappelle is number 1, easily, right? I got him over Rich Pryor, like Eddie Murphy. My top 5 is all black comedians because.
Hey.
All right. So this is my last question. If you had to join one team, you got to choose between the two I'm about to give you. You have to join this team. Is it the Cowboys, the Dallas Cowboys, or the United States Air Force? Which one? Dallas Cowboys or the United States Air Force?
Air Force, easy.
Wow.
So I can do nothing, right? Get paid and save my money.
Oh, you got to bring
shots fired. I know.
Back on the branches.
Irv would be like,
tell me how much I got to send out a tweet, right? My appointment is sending an email, maybe. Like, how you doing? 5 weeks later. Fine, babe.
Man, that's why I ain't even gonna lie. I felt bad when you were talking about coming back, your son not recognizing you, because no lie, during Irv's first deployment, I had a conversation with his grandmother, and I told her a story about how one of the guys I was working with shared with me how his daughter, she once he actually came, she was scared of him and she wouldn't go to him. Like once he came back from his deployment. But as long as he got on like a video chat, she would interact with him through the computer, like through the camera or whatever, where she could see him that way. But he could come in the same room and be like, hey, and she didn't like that. So I guess, Earth's grandma was like, well, that sounds crazy to me. And I'm like, well, you got to understand that sometimes it's just, the age of the kids, and when they get to a point of not consistently seeing that person, it may be hard for them to make that connection like that. So I was explaining how the whole time that Earth was deployed, I was going to try my best to make sure I made the effort for her to be able to actually be, video chatting him and saying his name and stuff like that. Right. But that's a luxury that we have in our situation. Obviously, unfortunately, you don't have that luxury, obviously, being in the subs and the situation, video chatting like that. So relating that back to the whole Air Force thing, I was like, dang, yeah, I can't even imagine that scenario. But I do have another question for you. Is there a time where oh no, I'm about to go for real. Okay. Is there a time you're going to be able to get off the subs? Like, are you going to have some like regular 9 to 5 time? That doesn't exist.
Short duty, if I get a good short duty. So if
Hi, Bella.
oh, come here, baby. Hey, look, man. Come here, baby.
Okay. You really said just the top. Finish talking.
Okay, I'm sorry.
No, you can.
Our youngest sister, and then the middle child walked up. Right, so.
Say hi, Felix.
Oh yeah, so I'll have shore duty, right? So I'm in sea duty right now, right? So if I go to shore duty, then I'll be like a regular 95, depending on what type of shore duty I get. But being a submarine volunteer, sub-volunteer, I can also get shore duties where I go out to sea, right? Or I'm in rotating shift work, where basically I'm out to sea. So it is what it is.
Okay. But that's all I got, Mary. If you ready to close us out.
Yep. So, we do our affirmation, babe. You want to join in or no? You just going to sit and look pretty? You can just sit and look pretty. All right, Candice, let's do it.
All right. I am enough.
I have the power. Oh, I'm sorry, babe. Go ahead.
No, I'm
Go
good.
ahead.
I don't want.
You can say it. Can you start over?
I am enough.
I have the power.
No, you repeat after her.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then you repeat after me.
Oh,
yeah. One more time. Let's do it again. Candice, start.
All right, and go. I am enough.
I am enough.
I have the power to create the life I desire.
I have the power to create the life that I desire.
I am worthy of my dreams.
I am worthy of my dreams.
I am worthy of my dreams.
Yes.
I am worthy of my dreams.
With the country accent too.
Right. Yes. Well, thanks, babe, for coming on today. We really appreciate it.
Oh, thank you for having me on.
Of course, yeah. This is good.
And
this
remember,
is fun.
Shine, sis. You got it.
You got this, girl.